This video is going to review IM, subcutaneous, and intradermal medication calculations. Okay, and as always, I recommend that you read the end of the question first. In this case, it's milliliters per dose. Stop and ask yourself, what do I need to know? What information do I need to answer milliliters per dose? Well, I'm going to need my doctor's order, and I'm also going to need my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. Okay, my D, my doctor's order, is 22 milligrams. And what do I have? And this is interesting because I actually have two here. Do you see I have 40 milligrams in 4 milliliters or 10 milligrams in 1 milliliter? I like to choose the smaller number just because it's easier, but either will work. And you can try with both of them and see, but you can either do 22 milligrams over 40 milligrams times 4 milliliters, or you can do what I'm going to choose, which is 22 milligrams over 10 milligrams times 1 milliliter. And I'm going to go ahead and get my calculator, and I'm going to do 22 divided by 10, multiply that by 1, and I get 2.2 milliliters. You want to make sure you label your answer and write it on that line so that your instructor knows that that's your final answer. Okay? Next question. How many mils will you give per dose? Stop and say, what do I need to know to answer that? I need my doctor's order. I need my drug label concentration. This is another D over H times V question. My D, my doctor's order, is 0.4 milligrams. Okay, what do I have? I'm going to go in here. Oh, I see micrograms and I see milligrams. But because my order is written in milligrams, I'm going to keep it in milligrams. And then also I see two choices. I see 0.5 milligrams in 2 mLs or 0.25 milligrams in 1 ml. Again, you can use either of those concentrations. You're going to get the same answer. I typically go with the smaller of those numbers just because it's less math. So I'm going to choose 0.25 milligrams times 1 ml. But again, I suggest you give it a try. You can also use the 0.5 milligrams in 2 mLs. You're going to get the same answer. Okay? And in this case, I'm going to take 0.4 and divide that by 0.25, multiply that by multiply that by 1, and I get 1.6 milliliters. Okay, and then sometimes I do that again. Does that make sense? 0.4 divided by 0.25 times 1, 1.6 mLs. Every now and then my brain says, does that look right? And then when it happens, I go ahead and I double check that again. So make sure you label your answer, write it in the line provided. Okay, next question. Mils per dose. What do I need to know? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. My D, my doctor's order, is 750 milligrams. Okay, I know that. What do I have? Oh boy, let's see. I see I have a gram here, but I'm going to keep looking because I don't see a gram in whatever. I need to know a concentration. So I need to go ahead and start looking through here. And I see usual adult dosage. I'm not really interested in that. And then I see for IM, and I think, oh, for IM, that means this medication might be given IV as well. So because I'm looking at this, I want to see, okay, am I giving this IM? And I am, because if I was giving it an IV, I might be using a different concentration. So you have to be very careful with these. But because I am giving it IM, I'm not going to look at this IV one. I don't really care about the IV one. I look at the IM. And it says, administration, add 2.5 milliliters of sterile water, shake well. I'm going to keep reading though, because some students are going to say, oh, I'm adding 2.5 milliliters in 1 gram. But sometimes a drug manufacturer is going to give you another concentration, and this is the concentration you're going to use whenever they provide it. So in this case, I'm going to use 330 milligrams times 1 milliliter. That is the concentration the drug manufacturer recommends. That is the one I'm going to use in my calculations. So I'm going to go to my calculator and do 750 divided by 330 times 1, and I get 2.2727. Okay, and again, I want to round to the nearest tenth, and in order to do that, I look one number past the 10th. I don't care about these numbers here. One number past the 10th. 7 is greater than 4. So I know I'm going to have to round this up a little bit. So my answer is going to be 2.3 milliliters. Lots of work in there. Okay, let's keep scrolling. All right, how many milligrams will you give per day? What do I need to know that? Well, I don't need to know my label at all. I need to know how many milligrams per dose and how many doses per day. Okay, that's why I'm asking myself, because I know that I have these two values I have to look for. How many milligrams per day? How many milligrams per dose? How many doses per day? How many milligrams per dose am I getting? I'm getting 60. How many doses per day am I getting? BID. That means 2 doses per day. My math is 60 times 2 is 120 milligrams per day. Okay. Mils per dose, express answer in hundredths. Okay, mils per dose. What do I need to know? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. My D, my doctor's order, is 2,500 units. What do I have? I have right here, I have 10,000 units times 1 milliliter. Go to my calculator, 2,500. I'm going to be really careful with these zeros. Divided by 10, 1, 2, 3, 1,000 units. Multiply that by 1, and I get 0.25. But the answer is going to be expressed in the hundredths. This is the hundredths. I'm not going to round this at all. I'm going to write my 0 here to make sure I make it clear that there's a decimal here. 25 milliliters per dose. Okay. Mils per dose to the 100th again. We often see this with heparin. What do I need to know for mils per dose? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my label concentration. This is going to be D over H times V. D, what's my doctor's order? 350 units. Divided by what do I have? And again, I have 2 choices here. I'm going to go with the smaller one. I have 1,000 units times 1 milliliter. I'm going to do that math very carefully. 350 divided by 1, 1, 2, 3 times 1 equals 0.35. Now I want to make sure I keep this to the nearest hundredth, which this is my hundredth value. So my answer is 0.35 milliliters. Final answer. How many milligrams per day? What do I need to know? Well, I don't need my label. All I need is my doctor's order. I need to know how many milligrams per dose and how many doses per day. And I'm going to go and find that information, and I see that I'm having 18 milligrams per dose. BID means I'm getting 2 doses per day. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to do 18 times 2, and I'm going to get 36. 36 what? Milligrams per day. Okay. Scrolling right along. Units per dose, round to the 100th. How many units per dose? I don't need to know my concentration. All I need to know is my doctor's order. How many units did the doctor order per dose? Doctor ordered 4,250 units. Now, it says round to the 100th. Do you think I want to write 4,250.00? No, I don't want to do that because I can make a medication error there. So even though it says round to the nearest 100th, that's a little trickery. It doesn't go to the 100th. My answer is a whole number, 4,250 units, okay, per dose. Okay. Next question, milliliters per dose. What do I need? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V question. My D, my doctor's order, 0.25 milligrams. What do I have? I'm going to go over here and look. I see micrograms, I see milligrams, I see two different choices for my concentration. I'm going to go with milligrams because that's what my doctor's order is already written in. And I'm going to go with the smaller volume. And what do I have here? I have 0.25 times 1 milliliter. Okay, I'll go to my calculator and I do 0.25 divided by 0.25 times 1. Boy, what am I going to get there? Times 1 is equal to 1 milliliter. Okay, 1 milliliter. Make sure you march it out because every now and then you never know. So trust your calculator. Okay, keep moving. What is my question asking? Volume to be administered on the syringe. Okay, so I need to know how many milliliters I'm going to give per dose because I'm going to have to color that in down here in my syringe. What do I need to know how many milliliters? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. So D, 8 milligrams is my doctor's order. What do I have? I have 5 milligrams times 1 milliliter. Go into my calculator, 8 divided by 5 times 1 equals 1.6. Now, my answer is not 1.6. My answer has to be colored in. So I'm going to look at this and I see 0.5, I see 1, 1.5, 2. So I'm going to go to 1.6 right here because that's 1.5 and 1.6 is what I want. And you don't have to completely color it in, just make it clear that it's 1.6 where you want it filled. Okay. Mils per dose. Okay, mils per dose. What do I need to know? I need to know how much my doctor wanted. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is a D over H times V calculation. D, what's my doctor's order? Doctor's order, 750 milligrams. What do I have? Oh, again, antibiotics are notorious for doing this. I have to go in here and look. I'm giving it IM and I see IM here. And I think, okay, I don't care about the IV. Because I want to care about the IM. And we already saw this label earlier, so we have a little trick here. We see that the concentration is right here. That's the one I'm going to use because whenever the drug manufacturer gives that to you, that's what you're going to use. Okay, it's going to be a little bit different than using 1,000 milligrams in 2.5 milliliters. We're going to use 330 milligrams times 1 milliliter. Go to my calculator, 750 divided by 330 times 1 equals 2.2727. Okay, and again, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, so I'm going to look at one number past that. These two numbers don't matter because 7 is greater than 4. I'm going to go to 2.3. My answer is 2.3 milliliters per dose. Okay. How many milligrams max can be given each day? Milligrams max can be given each day. So what do I need to know? I need to know how many milligrams per dose, how many doses per day, right? So I know I'm going to have 8 milligrams per dose, and milligrams max means if this patient can have it, because it's PRN, if they can have it as much as they need it, if I'm getting a Q4 PRN, 24 hours divided by 4 is 6 times per day. So if I had my maximum amount, I would be given this medication 6 times a day. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 6 is 48 milligrams per day, max. Okay. Another one, let's see, fill in the syringe. Okay, so in order to fill in the syringe, I need to know how much volume I need. How much volume I need, how do I solve that? I need my doctor's order and I need my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. What's my D? My doctor's order is 6 milligrams. What do I have? I have 10 milligrams times 1 milliliter. It's right there. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 10 times 1, and I get 0.6 milliliters. So now I have to go down to my syringe and find 0.6 milliliters and just color that in. Make it obvious that end point there. Okay, there you go. Okay. Doses per day. What do I need to know to answer this question? Well, I do not care about my drug label. Doses per day is part of my doctor's order. What did my doctor order? QID. How many doses per day is QID? It's 4 doses per day. Okay. How many micrograms per dose? Micrograms per dose. Don't care about this. Care about my doctor's order. Doctor's order is written in milligrams. So what this question is asking me to do is convert 0.4 milligrams into micrograms. And what do I know? I know that 1 milligram equals 1,000 micrograms. I can set this up as a ratio proportion. Or I can just multiply 0.4 by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. Because that's what this ends up being. X equals 0.4 times 1,000. So micrograms per dose is 400 micrograms. Okay. Milligrams per day. What do I need to know to answer that? Well, I don't need this. This is a distractor. I need to know how many milligrams per dose and how many doses per day. Let's figure that out. I have my doctor's order is telling me I have 750 milligrams per dose. How many doses per day is? If it's BID, it's 2 times a day. So I'm going to do 750 times 2. That equals 1,500 milligrams per day. Almost there. Last one. End of the question first. Milliliters per dose. What am I going to need to know to answer this? I need to know my doctor's order. I need to know my drug label concentration. This is going to be a D over H times V calculation. My D, my doctor's order, is 60 milligrams. What do I have? Boy, let's go ahead and look. I know there's 40 milligrams in here, but there's a little star. That means I'm going to have to read a little bit. Reconstitute with 1.2 ml, but again, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to say 40 milligrams in 1.2 milliliters unless there's something else here, okay? So let's see, there we go. Each 1 milliliter when mixed contains 40 milligrams. So I'm going to use this, 1 milliliter, 40 milligrams, not this. Do you see the difference? So whenever they give you this here, that's what you're going to use. So I have my doctor's order of 60 milligrams, and I'm going to know that there's 40 milligrams in 1 milliliter because this is what my drug manufacturer is telling me. I'm not going to do this one here. So 60 divided by 40 times 1 equals 1.5. My answer is 1.5 milliliters. Okay, and that's it for this video. I hope you found it to be helpful. And like always, if you have questions or you feel really lost, go ahead and drop me an email. I'm always happy to meet with you. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.